Amaskwachy-Waskahikan, otherwise known as Edmonton, is a city deeply rooted in arts and culture. Home to diverse, passionate, emerging voices in music who deserve to be heard and appreciated. I'm VISSIA, and this is Dirt City Songbook.
Hi, I'm Holly Sangster. I'm an artist based in Edmonton.
Well, Holly Sangster, thanks for sitting down with me.
Yeah, no problem.
It's nice to hear your gorgeous songs.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want to hear about your story and like your musical story. What were you like as a kid?
I started off with like piano lessons when I was in about elementary school. I'd always play. First person who actually introduced me to music was my grandpa, and like he would sit me on the piano bench beside him, and I just do whatever, and he'd be like, "Good job," even though it's like probably not great. But when he passed away, that's when I started taking piano lessons, and then. Yeah, I did that, and then junior high, school band, playing good old bass clarinet, and I started playing saxophone in high school, and cello along the way as well, and choir, which was super
everything.
Fun. I wish, but and then I got to MacEwan, and I majored in saxophone. And then I started taking voice lessons along the way as well, which has been super valuable for me, and especially I found doing saxophone and voice like hand in hand kind of together has really helped me out. So,
like, are there things that kind of cross over with those two instruments?
Yeah, definitely. I think they just help each other out. I feel like whenever you learn a new instrument, it just kind of reinforces other aspects of the others. Like the voice is not a fixed pitched instrument, it's very intuitive, and having the saxophone as a fixed pitched instrument has really helped. And also it just makes me think of both of those instruments differently. It helps me be more lyrical on my saxophone playing, and then it helps me be busier in the vocal sense and more thinking about notes rather than
and like vocal runs and things.
So
like voice is such a, I don't know, it's very like fluid and like malleable, I think, and like so do you find like in terms of like how you feel about like, I don't know, I guess for lack of a better term, like your true voice, is that something that you are like still kind of like honing, or you kind of feel really comfy there? Or
I think it's still something that I'm working on and trying to figure out, because I've done, I've sang lots of different situations, and I feel like I'm still, I'm working on my technique and stuff, but I'm still trying to figure out my sound, I suppose, because especially listening to tons of different vocalists, it's so easy to just want to sound like everybody,
right?
Because so many people are so good. But they're all very different. So I'm still working on trying to combine those influences into one.
Yeah, that's something I've always like, I wouldn't say struggled with, but have become more conscious of, is like, when you really love these other singers, you're kind of like, oh, I want to be like that. But then you kind of have to stop and be like, oh, wait, no.
But I'm not.
And I will never be like that.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's like, it's such a personal instrument that way, I think.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's a lot more vulnerable as well. Like, it's so, oh my goodness, it's so easy, like with the saxophone or with any other type of instrument.
Saxophone, easy, right?
You have something in your face, like you can do whatever you want, stage presence, whatever. I'm just, but when you're singing, it's like, oh, I actually have to use my face and figure out like, what do I do with my hands, and like, that's been a big challenge for me. Because it's so much easier to ignore those types of things with other instruments. But it's also, I've gained a lot of respect too for vocalists, especially like, really good ones, I'm just like,
yeah,
I feel like so easy.
Yeah.
And it's so personal,
Mm-hmm. And like, even when it comes to like, because your voice is like part of your body and your like your biology, your physiology, it's like, I mean, yeah, you're going to have like certain limitations just because what you're born with.
Yeah.
But then there's also just like the care of it too, where you're like, I don't know. Yeah. There's all these singers that I am so like amazed by. And I'm like, wow, their vocal like health is so next level too.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like I've learned so many things from my voice teacher, Jen Nickel, and friends too, just like, yeah, just voice care things. Cause there's so many funny things. Like there's one, was it like, blowing bubbles, like into water through a straw.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I just started like picking that up too in the last like year.
Yeah.
And it feels incredible though.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it feels so strange.
I still haven't gotten like super into it, but it's on the list.
Yeah. I'm not claiming to be like have an amazing vocal practice out there. I've tried it a couple of times.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Your voice is the echo of mine. I'm waiting on your line. I'm hoping you find mine. I look into gossamer skies. I see reflection in your eyes. I'm hoping you find mine. Talking to an empty page. I love you, but I can't seem to change. Waiting for you in the dark. You walk away, I cannot follow. So I just wait here. So I just wait here. So I just wait here. Time gone, knew it wouldn't be long. Maybe it's my mind waiting on your line. I hope you will see me again. Someone different or pretend will mend. Talking to an empty page. I love you, but I don't seem to change. Waiting for you in the dark. You walk away, I cannot follow. So I just lay here. So I just lay here. So I just wait here. So I just wait here.
Your songwriting is just very like, well, it's beautiful. It's and your melodies and everything that you write. What are your, I guess, influences when it comes to writing your own songs?
Well, I feel like for the most part, first of all, I love listening to like singer-songwriters, and I listen to a lot of instrumental music as well, but a big influence for me, especially this past year, has been this artist named Ichiko Aoba, and she sings in Japanese, which I don't speak Japanese, but her lyrics and the way I've just found it interesting, like, even though I can't understand the words she's saying, I can still understand her. And so I've been really trying to write in that way. I find lyrics challenging. That's definitely been something tricky for me, but they're so tricky, but I've been kind of trying to just more so go with the flow and go for like a feeling or an image rather than being able to like read the lyrics and be like have it super specific, what I mean?
Or like very literal, like
very literal. Yeah, that's it. So I've been trying to more focus on the whole image, like how she writes, like even if someone couldn't understand the lyrics, they could understand the feeling behind it.
Yeah, because with lyrics, it's like you could listen to a song in a different language, and as long as you are feeling that emotion, it's like, okay, well, maybe then, like, lyrics are important. I still love them dearly. But it's like there's this whole other thing around songs, I think, that is kind of the magic about it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So you write songs. Do you also write other music as well?
Yeah, I actually just started songwriting and composing in the past. I mean, like vaguely in the past, like 4 to 5 years, but really working on it in the past 1 to 2 years. I'm like really committing to it. I've been really drawn to singer-songwriter stuff because that's a lot of what I listen to. But I've also been working on stuff to compose more in like contemporary styles or jazz styles with my saxophone. It's interesting though, I've had to use like very different strategies for different genres, and it's kind of interesting because I have to kind of change my mindset every time I write depending on what I want to do.
Okay.
Which is interesting and something I've been trying to figure out.
Yeah. Could you say more about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think I listen to lots of different music, and I have a lot of different influences, which I think is a good thing. But I think mostly what I've been trying to work on is kind of honing in on what I really want to work on, because my brain can feel very sporadic and moving in lots of different directions. Like, I want to do this, I want to do this.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to work out a way to combine those things into one sound.
It's like finding how you want to say what you want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I've been working on also combining like voice and horn. Because I have lots of I know lots of artists who do that, and it's just cool because you can communicate in 2 different ways, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like speaking multiple languages.
Yeah,
like really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's super impressive. Like, really. What are the things that kind of draw you into wanting to create a piece, or like, are you kind of collecting ideas all the time?
Yeah. I find I'll get ideas just in my head, melody ideas. It's usually either just a melody or a line, or it's a melody with lyrics. I find it's very rare that I come up with lyrics just on their own.
Okay.
The notes, like the audio files on my phone, is extensive and terrifying. I know sometimes, like if I'm bored, I'll just be like, yeah, let's scroll to the bottom and see where this goes. And it's just like, what?
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Because I try to record every little thing because or else it slips past, it disappears. And I'm so grateful I do, because sometimes I'll go back and be like, oh yeah, I remember this thing. This is kind of cool. Let's try to do something with it. So yeah.
I love the cell phone for that reason. It's just
so handy.
Because I don't know if you've ever like had an idea and it's like, maybe, I don't know, there's been times where I'm like kind of going to bed or something. I'm like, I'll just, in the morning or something. And then you wake up and you're like, oh no, I will never get that back.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's a rule for me. I've been in elevators. I've been like walking to places and I'm just like, this is my brain now. If I don't write it down now or like do something with it, it's just going to leave me. So and then I'll look back on those files and be like, where was I?
Yeah.
When this was recorded, like what is going on?
There's just like hundreds of lifetimes in voice memos.
yeah, exactly.
With your writing and like obviously like we're expressing ourselves through our creativity and like what we're writing. What inspires you, I guess? Like what are the things that draw you in enough where you're like, oh, I want to express this?
Yeah, I think it really depends. It's usually feeling based, and I associate those feelings with certain images. I try to relate it to some kind of a story, whether it's like my experience or something fictional, and I guess that's mostly my process. Like, I'll because usually the songwriting process starts with like I'll have a single idea, and then I try to kind of go off of that. So, however that makes me feel, or even how I'm feeling in the moment. Like there have been times in my life where like something happened and it's really inspiring. And so usually feeling / story based.
Yeah.
Try to anyways.
Yeah. Like, are you kind of like, because I've spoken with some songwriters where it has to be very much like steeped in their own reality, I guess.
Yeah.
But the way you're speaking about it as well, like with fiction, do you find you're able to like kind of create narratives?
I think so. I think the initial idea starts from my reality.
Yeah.
And then when I try to expound on that, sometimes I have to reach in different places. My mom actually is a storyteller, and she's an amazing writer. And so I've tried to emulate that in a sense, because she takes she doesn't write like novel length stories, but she writes shorter stories, but they make you feel so much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's what I'm going for, like to feel like you've read a novel, only after listening to like 3 minutes of sound.
A song. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I was going to say, that just sounds like when you hear a song that you're like, that's the perfect song.
Yeah. It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you've been through so much, but it's
and even if it's short. Not what you're going through at the time, you're like, well, I basically went through it.
And I think that's the best art, where it's like, even though you haven't experienced it or you can't necessarily relate in your own reality, it still makes you feel that way. I think that's incredible. Yeah.
When I look into your eyes, the sun is in my chest. Every bad forgotten feeling is replaced with rest. 'Cause I think love isn't that far. 'Cause I think love is in your car. every love song, you come to mind. Now I finally understand what was so hard to find. 'Cause I think love isn't that far. 'Cause I think love is in your car. Everything is broken, now everything is out. I won't break your heart, baby, I promise. 'Cause I have loved you from the start. 'Cause darling, I love you. Oh, I adore you. Darling, I love you. Darling, I love you. Yes, I do. Well, I know love isn't that far. 'Cause I know love was in your car.
So being a composer, a songwriter, there's, you know, the performer side of things. Is there like a facet of being a musician, artist that you find to be like the most interesting to you, or that you identify with the most? Or is it kind of holistic?
You mean like a part of being like an artist?
Yeah, like, because there's like the side of like, okay, I'm writing music, composing, and sometimes that can be a little bit more like internal, or like, but then some people just can't wait to get out on a stage to perform, kind of thing. Or I don't know, I guess just like, yeah, what things feel the best to you?
Yeah, I mean, for a really long time, I've been very comfortable and more so working on the performance side of things, because I've done a lot of things as like a side person, or even when I'm doing my own shows, like I haven't really dabbled in my own music, but I've been really trying to commit to more of that very individual work of composition, and I found it to be really magical, because you can spend just hours like working things out, and even though, like, you know, you're just playing alone in your bedroom, it feels a lot bigger. And I've also realized how vulnerable it is, like, you know, writing your own music, and because it's easier to find music you really enjoy by other people and play it and, you know, try to emulate someone else. But it's so much harder to take your own work and to be like, this is worth showing to people, even, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, because especially since I'm honestly really fresh at it, it's like it's hard to, like, value judgment is really challenging, because it's so easy to be like hypercritical of yourself, but even be like, I like this, but is this like, does this work? You know, or is this saying what I want it to say? Because it might make sense to me, but it might not to someone else. So that's been really interesting to work through.
Yeah, like learning to really trust yourself and just
definitely, and just go with where my mind is taking me.
Yeah, it's always like an interesting thing to have to remind yourself of, because it's like ultimately all of the artists and other writers that you look up to and love, it's like that's what they're doing, and that's why it connects with us then, I think. So you're like, oh yeah, they're really authentic, like, and I think that like quest for authenticity is like a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because I've had experiences where like I can write about certain things, but then I can make a something simple and it might sound good, but it might not feel authentic to me. And then so I've been really trying to create music that I feel really good about playing and sharing.
And with like accompanying yourself with guitar, like that must feel a lot different than just singing, or also when you perform with your saxophone.
Yeah, definitely. So I started out on piano. I've kind of been teaching myself guitar over the past couple years, and I've been really enjoying it because it's making me write music in a different way compared to other instruments, and it's just been making me get different sounds in, and it also feels very personal, especially like using an acoustic guitar.
Yeah, it's super vulnerable. Like acoustic guitars have to be one of the quietest instruments ever. Yeah, it's like
definitely.
Yeah, but it's like you were saying, it makes you write differently. Is that just because it's like kind of this new realm that there's still like so much to discover?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's it's a mixture of it's a new sound, new instrument, but it's also like my technical capabilities. So it's about figuring out like I want to get here, like what do I have to do to get there, and also just working with what I have, which has been really interesting.
Well, I mean, obviously, we're all young here, but like thinking back to like when you've been playing music for so long, is there some things that now where you're like, oh, I wish I kind of had known this when I was younger, even if it's just like about, I don't know, it doesn't have to be about music specifically, but just like an understanding that like helps you like even with confidence or something like.
Yeah, I think confidence wise, like I feel like I've especially this year I feel like I've grown a lot, and you're talking about trust earlier. I think I wish I knew that like it's good to trust yourself, and it's good to just like know that what you're doing is good. And because I remember when I was younger, thankfully like I was surrounded by so many people who are just like way better than me, which was really good for me, like it's really inspiring, but it definitely put me in a place where I felt very much like lesser, and I was like, like how am I going to get there? But I think now here, and like I have a long ways to go, but now with more time, I've realized like it's totally possible to get where you want to get to, and to keep going, because no one is truly done learning. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I tell myself, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I think one of the best things about music and playing music, learning music, writing it is like, there's never that point of like arrival.
No.
It's like there's kind of these stops along the way, I guess, but like, and you're just constantly learning all the time.
Yeah, and I think I've definitely gotten a lot more comfortable with that and embraced that a lot more, which has made things so much more enjoyable. I'm a lot more curious. I'm a lot more open to being wrong, and to learning from others, which has helped me a lot. Yeah.
So if people want to follow along with your learning and your journey and everything, where should they stay in touch with you?
Yeah, I mean, I mostly keep up with things on Instagram, which is just Holly Sangster with 2 S's at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main spot.
Okay, excellent.